Welcome to Waypoint Connect episode 7. It's so great for me that you've tuned in and you're with us for this episode, and it's my privilege and my honor to have you guys in studio with us. Annerie, it's so great. We've journeyed a while together, so it's great to be able to chat to you. And Rochelle, we've recently met, but we've been doing a lot of things together in a very short time. So it's great for me that you guys are willing to give up your precious time and share a bit about your journey with entrepreneurship with us.
Thank you.
So I want to start off by just asking you a bit about yourself so that people can get to know you a bit better. So where are you guys from?
Well, I'm originally from Somerset East. Grew up there, went to school, then came to Port Elizabeth to study here, and I've been here ever since.
I was born and raised in Port Elizabeth, went to Sunridge Primary School and Fernsby High School, and then I studied at the art school at NMMU.
It's always great to speak to local people and people that are making a difference in their communities and part of our community, which is fantastic. Now, your businesses, because you've got two businesses that are in a way completely different from each other, which is what we wanted. So just give us a brief overview of what it is that you do, Annerie, in your business.
Okay, so I'm a lactation specialist, but my business is basically based on 3 legs. So I do antenatal education, which means that I educate parents in their pregnancy about what to expect, labor, birth, and so forth. Then I also have a well baby clinic, so I look after the baby once they are born, make sure that they are on track, that they are gaining weight. And then the biggest part of the business rests on the lactation specialist side. So that's where I look after the breastfeeding journey of the mom to make sure that it's a pleasurable experience for her. Where there's pain, where there's loss of birth weight, I get in and then I make sure that all the boxes are ticked and that the mom has a good breastfeeding experience.
Yeah, so that phrase, lactation specialist, for me was a new phrase. So it's great to learn new things.
Yeah.
And Rochelle, your business, The Cradle, tell us a bit about that.
So I'm an artist, so anything art related. I do engraving, ceramics, sculpture, cake decorating, anything you can think of. The Cradle started out it's still from home, and I was very blessed. My parents set up a studio for me at home. So
wow, that's great. So I'm going to ask you how you came up with the idea of your business. So Annerie, how did that transition happen for you?
It was tough. I worked for a private hospital in PE for close to 15 years. When I had this inkling, nagging feeling that I could do more outside of the hospital where I worked, I toyed with the idea for a very long time, but there were lots of things that had to line up first and align. Then I finally got the guts and the support that I needed to start up the practice and go on my own and pursue my dream.
Okay, we're going to come back to that support just now, but thanks for sharing that journey with us. For you, Rochelle?
So I finished studying in 2019, and right after that it was lockdown. So I was like, okay, what do I do now? And the next logical step was to start a business. But I knew from the start that I was placing it in God's hands. He would lead me where He needed me to go. And yeah, it's just grown from there.
Yeah, because that's a tough space to be in where your expectation was, I'm going to start job searching. And then like, no, you're going to stay at home now. And I don't know how long that's going to be. So what do you do then? So it's great for taking that initiative and saying this is the challenge, but what is the opportunity that's coming out of that? And I like the word you said, that you used logical, because logical isn't always necessarily the right step. So the fact that you're saying you're still placing it in God's hands and doing that is great. So thanks for sharing that. What would you say, looking back, because you said you've got your business for just over 5 years now, looking at into 6 years, and based on what you shared, you've got your business for a year. What would you say is your biggest challenge over the past 5 or 6 years?
I think initially it was trusting in financially being okay, because if you're used to being paid, getting your salary, Now you are completely self-reliant. So that was a big challenge, and I think it always is. You always think about the end of the month. Other challenges, I think, is also to stay ahead in the business, to be current with your market, because my market is younger than I am. So to stay updated to what to how they connect, and to speak their language. So I think that for me is currently possibly the biggest challenges. I think when I started out, a huge challenge was you get taught to be, for instance, a nurse and a midwife, but you don't get taught how to run a business.
Yeah, entrepreneurship.
No one teaches you that. So that is a learn along the way thing. How do I start up my own thing? And how do I run it? And how do I make a success of it?
And accounting at school doesn't help in filling that gap in.
And I didn't even have accounting at school. Yeah, so that was challenging, especially in the beginning. To learn about tax and, for instance, and keeping books and what's billable and what's not. And how do I do invoices? And
Awesome. Rochelle, for you?
So one of the biggest challenges for me, like Annerie said, is just like starting out and trusting that you don't know what the next month will bring and where the money's going to come from. I have a nice whiteboard in my room which has the months marked out, and the rest of the year is like blank.
Good.
So then I'm like, I don't know, I should just keep on trusting and praying, because you don't know what's coming. And then just every month the Lord has surprised me with orders coming in. So another challenge was also, like Annerie said, doing the books and stuff. I mean, I did accounting in high school, but I was terrified of my teachers, so I sort of just listened enough to pass. So it's very difficult to now have to find out. There's so much to business that you didn't know there was. So, but I've had a lot of support with that. So
that's great. And linking in with that question, because you both refer to the fact that there are certain things that I didn't know that I had to get to know real quickly. So who would you say would be the people that you reached out to that helped you on this journey to start your business and be successful at it and being able to close those practical gaps that were there?
I was very blessed in having friends that more or less ran the same type of businesses that I was planning to, that reached out to me and invited me to come spend a day with them at their practice and just show me the ropes, show me how the medical aids work, which is quite a pain. So that just showed me the basics of the type of business that I was getting into. Then I also had friends in the corporate world that said, listen, please don't get steamrolled by this type of pressures that the business can put on you. So I had input from people on the completely financial, economic side of things, and I had people in the medical side of businesses that really reached out to me, took me by the hand.
People that were in the same industry, in a sense, competitors of yours,
yes,
were saying to you, come spend time with me, and that's amazing. So did you find that part of your story that people were open to sharing information with you?
Yes, they were so gracious, and like you say, we're going to be in direct competition. But you know what, ever since I've opened my practice, I've had challenges with people that were not so forthcoming with me opening my private practice, and that sees you as another person to compete with.
Right.
But I have really good friends that even now in the business we work together. But when I'm swamped, other people take my patients. When they swamped, they send their patients to me. So I can take leave and know that my patients will be looked after. So and I think when you go on your own, you mustn't just see yourself as an island and competing against everyone. But it's important to identify people that do the same as you, but to see them as colleagues, even though you don't work in a setup where you have colleagues in an office with you, but that you can reach out to and lean on in times when you need assistance.
Yeah, that's a great perspective.
Yeah, so being an entrepreneur doesn't mean you're all on your own. That's very important.
Awesome. For you, Rochelle?
So I've had a lot of support. My dad's also more on the financial side of things. He has his own business. So he's started helping me with that, but also because I'm more of a very different type of business, he can only help me so far. So I've had meetings that I'm meeting with Jock Whittle. He's helping me because he has his own very successful business. He's helping me fill in the gaps regarding with admin and stuff, and the spreadsheets and everything.
Yes.
So yeah, I think that's definitely what helps, is to have support. And also I've had, when I started out, people from the industry help me regarding the prices and stuff, that I know like how much can I ask and stuff. So
you're competitive, but still making profit on that and get guidelines.
There are people who are very competitive in the field, and I think what helped is because I studied art, they teach you it's not a competition, you are there to support each other. So, and that's the mindset you have to go into entrepreneurship. So.
Okay. Yeah, awesome. My next question is, if you had to do this all over again, what would you do different? Would you do differently?
I think I would worry less about how other people in the same industry did it. I did spend a lot of time researching other people's websites and how they did it and how they ran their courses and how they ran their classes, and I would spend more on building my brand. And this I only realized a while into my business. I was me, my personality was different, the type of people that I attracted were different than what other practices would attract. So I would focus more on building my brand and don't sweat the small stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
So yeah, that is what I definitely do differently.
Awesome, I like that.
Yeah, I'd say I would have definitely started out with more confidence, because I've always been used to second guessing myself and think, but am I really good enough to just go on my own and start a business? And also, like Annerie said, find your own niche. And that's where people tap in, and that's where you get your focus market, because I mean that's the thing that people will have where they keep coming back to you. So not try and compete with everyone else and do exactly the same thing, because there are, like especially in the cake decorating world, there's a lot of trends and everyone's tapping into that, but then everyone's doing it and there's nothing unique about your business. So find something that's unique to you and then just tap into that.
I think to add to what Rochelle just said also, is especially when you start out your business, you tend to think because you're new or because you're a newbie, you undercharge, you undervalue yourself and your services. So you tend to do a lot, give a lot, but you don't charge for it. And unfortunately, when you're an entrepreneur, you've got to charge for your time and the materials you use. So the confidence to do what you're doing obviously builds with time, but do not undervalue yourself and like put yourself right at the bottom because you feel, oh, I'm so new at this, the poor people that's making use of me.
Yeah.
So to really put your confidence of why you went on your own behind your actual billing as well.
I think that's an important factor. I had a conversation with another small business owner where I've constantly said to him, listen, you're charging too less for your product. I know the effort that you put into this. Stop looking and comparing. This is what you need to charge. And then somebody said to him 6 months back, listen, you're too cheap. You need to charge more. And he said, well, suddenly the lights came on for him and he charged more for his product and he's selling more of his product, not less of his product. Yeah. And a funny story is the comedian Andy, not Andy Stanley, that was struggling to get his comedian business set up. And he just got an epiphany moment where he realized he's charging $50 for a session because he's trying to book sessions. And then he got to the realization, who wants to book a $50 comedian? Obviously the guy mustn't be good if he's charging $50. So let me charge $500. And suddenly people started booking him because there's value in what you're charging. And I think as an entrepreneur, you're so worried about the competition and being competitive that you undervalue yourself.
Yes.
Which is kind of what I picked up from your stories as well, is the doubt initially and looking at other people is you're a different person, you're going to connect to a different group of people. Yeah. Just baanbreker kind of thing, just like set your own course and follow that with courage.
Yeah, definitely. And not to let one or two setbacks make you feel like a failure. You're going to get setbacks. There are going to be tough months. but 1 or 2 setbacks shouldn't define your journey at all.
Yeah.
I think it's normal to have. I think it's necessary to have setbacks when you're starting up your own thing.
Before we get to the serious question, are there any funny moments that you guys can think of and that you're willing to share? And I'm looking at you specifically because I think there's a lot of inappropriate things you can share with us.
I can keep you busy with that one, but maybe let's share one that we can have on camera.
Yeah.
I think it was maybe more embarrassing than funny.
Okay.
And it was last year winter time that this happened. I was going to see a new patient, and new is important to remember because I don't have any rapport or relationship with this girl. So she came, her husband came, and halfway through my consultation, I've already assessed the baby, I've interviewed the mom, and I went and I sat down in my office, and I crossed my legs, and I was still wearing my huge slippers.
Because you're working from home, right?
Yeah. And it was a cold morning. I completely forgot to change my slippers, and I didn't know should I apologize for it, like I'm so sorry, or was I just to leave it to think that this is how I roll?
They're not going to see this.
So what I did do is I excused myself. I quickly just need to go get a tissue or something for me, and I came back wearing normal shoes.
and she's like, I need a tissue like that as well.
Yeah.
So. Oh, that's awesome. That's funny. It's funny.
I never did it again.
Oh, great. Awesome. For you, Rochelle?
Well, I've only been going for a year, so not a lot of funny things. I have worked a lot of late nights, and you probably also know, like, if you work late, everything starts getting funny. So I was busy in the kitchen. My mom was helping me bake something. I don't know if it was cupcakes or something. And there was a cracked egg in the container. So I took it away and I put it out. 5 minutes later, I get back trying to get another egg. And there's the same cracked egg. And I'm like looking at this like, am I losing my mind? And then it turns out my mom put it back because she didn't know it was cracked. But then I thought, like, did this thing like grow legs and just come back into the basket? I don't want to use you. So, but yeah, it was hilarious at that time because it was like midnight. And my mom's like, you need to go to bed. And then she's like, all the eggs will start growing legs, and she's walking out. So, yeah.
Oh, great. And I can think as an entrepreneur, there's a lot of burning the candle on both ends and late nights involved.
Yes.
So it's not for sissies, right?
No. I think a huge challenge maybe is also, especially if your office is also at home, is you always feel like you're at the office, and you feel guilty to take time out because there's so much more you can do. There's always work to do. So to draw the line between office time and family time, that is something I struggled with. Okay. My husband and I had conversations about, about you need to switch off. When you take leave, you take leave. So, yeah, my phone will ring, but I don't have to go sit in front of my computer. I don't have to necessarily take the calls if I have already diverted it or have given it over to a colleague.
Yeah.
So that is very important.
And I think in your context, it's even more of a challenge because you don't have a family that's making you aware of the fact that you're spending too much time in the office. You're responsible for yourself. So it's difficult to find that balance in saying, this is work time, this is me time. I'm just looking after me and taking time out.
I think for me also, because now my dad, he also works from home. So he's on one side of the house and then I'm on the other side.
And then you meet for coffee in the kitchen.
Yeah, then we just do lunch like in the main area in the house, and then it's back to work. But because my dad also has trouble then switching off, I've now also started doing that where in the evenings I'll sit at the TV and we'll have dinner. Right after that, it's my laptop and I'm doing admin while I'm watching series. Yeah. So, and that's also, like you said, you don't have time where you actually just say like, okay, it's me time now, because especially like you said, if you're not doing anything, then it's like, oh, but I could be doing this and this and this and this, and then you start feeling guilty.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, so I think you guys need to have coffee together.
So we should take me time.
Yes.
Now, here's my main question for you guys. Having spent time with you knowing who you are as a person and what's important to you, values in your life. As somebody that has a living relationship with God, how would you say did that come into play in you starting your own business and sustaining that journey with all the challenges that we talked about? How did that factor into your business?
So I'm going to take you right back to 2015 when all of this started. In our life group, we were doing a course called Gezone, which meant your God-given purpose. All right. So I struggled a lot with that, with that program or course, whatever, during that time. And I was in an amazing life group, and she had made mention of Dirk before, and he was in my life group at the time. And he challenged me greatly, and because they knew of my desire to go on my own, because I've had this desire since 2014. So just shortly, my husband wasn't ready for me to let go of my stable income, because he's also an entrepreneur, so he's also working for himself. So that meant both of us would have no catch net.
Yeah.
So there were a lot that we had to fix, personally for me, in our marriage. And then I started asking the Lord for signs. If this is the right thing for me to do, show me. And he did come through for me. To give you a small example, I started investigating the cost of, for instance, a baby scale, because that is one of the first things I would need in my practice. And I had one of the store guys from the hospital where I work just get quotes for me, and he gave me the quotes in that week. And that Friday I had a seminar that I had to attend, a national seminar. And at the seminar, at the end of the day, we had to all give in our name tags with our barcodes, and they did a draw. And what did I win? A baby scale.
Yeah.
So, and that morning when I was on my way to the seminar, I said to the Lord, please give me a tangible sign that this is okay with you, that this is what you want me to do, and not just the desire of my own heart, because I felt this desire to do my own thing, that I can do it, that I have a talent to work with new moms. I knew this had to come from the Lord, that this sudden not being comfortable at work anymore, this had to come from the Lord. So more and more signs came. And then when I started my practice, I started with such a small group of people that obviously knew about me, but things became available for me, like business people availed their premises where I could work from, and they didn't charge me for it. Even now, I made use of a very good venue where I had my classes from, where the owner said, you know what, just pay it forward. So every time I was in a tight spot, things just happened, and I know that it wasn't coincidence. I know that the Lord has been there for me with every single step, and it's important also for me to every day give this practice back to the Lord. So I'm not living a career, I'm living my calling, and I feel incredibly blessed that I get up in the morning and feel excited and passionate about what I do, because I know that this is a blessing from above. In 2017, I went and specialized as a lactation specialist. I did not ask for a bursary to go study. It was a gift. And I got a bursary to go and specialize through this university. So again, that was just something where the Lord just like gifted me with something else just to strengthen my journey.
And I like the fact that you, and it's just absolutely amazing how you did that course that focused on not just purpose but God-given purpose.
Yes.
And you asked for confirmation, is this what you want me to do? And when you got confirmation, you started that journey. It was tough, it was difficult, there were challenges, but you could see God moving along the way, and He's part of your story.
And the timing was important, because I wanted to do it long before, but things had to align first in, like I said, in my marriage, in my household, in how I saw myself. And it was not, I didn't enjoy being challenged. many a night walked out of life group and I was furious, especially at Dirk, and he knows it, for challenging me and saying, no, that's not you, that's what you wanted to be. You've got to be patient. You've got to be patient with yourself, you've got to be patient with the timing, you've got to be patient with your husband. And I didn't understand it because I was ready to run ahead.
Yeah.
I'm a so early personality, and I had to like pull back a bit and wait for God to show me now is the right time. When everyone had peace, I had peace, and it was a tangible difference to if I just gone ahead and do it.
Sure, yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. For you, Rochelle?
So, okay, so let's start with when I was studying, or apply to study. I didn't have a plan. I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up. My sister's very goal-oriented. She's like teacher all the way. So for me, I was the dreamer in the family. So I take it one step at a time, I go where I go. And we were at the university open day, and my mom saw the art school stall, and she was like, oh, this looks cool, because I always enjoyed drawing. And I was like, I guess I could apply. Not that I didn't do art in high school or anything, so I wasn't trained. And I applied, and I was like, if I get in, I get in. If I don't get in, then that's fine, I'll take a gap year or do something. And I got in, and I was like, well, I guess I'm doing art now. So I studied that for 3 years. In the second year, I started looking at Christian themes to bring that in, because that was one of the challenges with the university, is it's all the religions that you can think
and especially in the arts department.
Yes,
I know.
they are very colourful there.
They are there, I know, yeah.
So it was a big challenge, but I decided I would stick through it, because if this was really what the Lord was asking me to do, then I have to bring in that Christian theme and also start testifying to the other students around me. And I graduated with sculpture. I did a Christian theme, so I looked at the parable of the seeds that are sown. And I passed with my Christian theme. And then, yeah, the next step was to start a business. As I said, like, I just felt the Lord was saying, well, don't apply for a job because it's lockdown. And it didn't really start out like day one, okay, I am making now stuff and I'm starting my business. It kind of just grew from a little seed, where I had someone just contact me saying, listen, can you please make me a cake topper? I need a teddy bear for a baby shower. And I was like, okay, I guess I can do it. So I tried it, and then the orders just came through from there. So yeah, and every day it was also, like Annerie said, is giving back, and just believing. Like when I also do like sales where I'll make cookies or something and sell. But every time before I sell, I'll be like, this is in your hands, Lord. If you want them to sell, let them sell. If not, I'll donate them. And every single time He's come through, and people have bought the cookies and stuff. So it's basically for people who need to or who want to go into business, it's a very big step of faith. Every day is a step of faith, because you don't know necessarily what's happening next. So, and like for me, I might see like the end goal, but not the stepping stones in between, which is sometimes frustrating. But that is where the faith comes in. So.
And I'm responsible for groups in Waypoint, and the theme we're currently busy with is starting your day with God, with Jesus. And I was just reminded of both of you, but specifically with what you shared. As entrepreneur, owner of your own business, you're the one that's calling the shots. You have to make the decisions. How amazing isn't it to be able to start your day and just soundboard from somebody that's already been there, knows what's going to pan out for that day, and just give you a heads up and say, watch out for this, look at that, maybe you need to put more effort in there. So yeah. And so thanks for sharing your guys' experiences.
Sorry, I'm interrupting you. Arthur Frost once did a seminar or a workshop where they discussed the biblical principles of running a business, which looks different than the corporate principles of running a business. And I think that was also quite pivotal in the journey in looking at, you know, the way that the Lord does business is not necessarily the way that the world do business. And sometimes making a decision to do something for free or giving your time for free or doing something that you actually don't have the financial resources for doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But you know, by following that little voice inside of you that says,
prompt.
you know what, yeah, like a prompt, like, do this for me. And just how many times it has proven to be such a blessing to others, and then in the end a blessing to me on my business as well.
Awesome.
So.
Great. Guys, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. And thank you for sharing insights about stuff. Broadening our horizons about what's out there. So thank you very much. And I really appreciate your time.
Oh, pleasure.
Thanks for having
Thanks.
us.